you today. Joe Rogan takes Jake Paul's side in the Dana White beef. Man, I did not see this coming. They're getting into it specifically over fighter pay, and Joe Rogan is siding with Dana White's mortal enemy, Jake Paul. Man, it's going down. Jake Paul, he and his partner Nikisa have merged MVP, most valuable promotions, with the PFL. They're going directly at the UFC. As you guys know, Jake Paul has called Dana White all kinds of names. He made a rap diss song about him that got millions of views. Extremely disrespectful. Still going in on Dana, bringing up all kinds of just making a lot of accusations about Dana's personal life, about his habits, his partying, his violent nature, like all kinds of crazy shit Jake Paul is bringing up about the dude. And he's bringing up fighter pay. And he believes that through Netflix and through MVP, most valuable promotions, he can raise the standard for all fighters. This is coming at a time when UFC just did a $7.7 billion deal with Paramount Plus, and the fighters in the UFC are complaining, just as Dana White started Zuffa Boxing, signed a boxer none of us know named Conor Benn to a $15 million deal. At the same time, that guy fought that contract and he got re-signed. He's now fighting Ryan Garcia. They're pulling up the fucking, they're back, what is it called? Backing up the Brinks truck for him. They're raining cash down on Conor Benn. And you got Sean Strickland over here, who's getting bigger than the UFC itself. He's becoming a political figure at this point. Sean Strickland is outgrowing the bubble of the UFC. He could go make tens and tens of millions of dollars if he went to box Jake Paul. He could go make $30 million probably to go box Jake Paul. Instead, Strickland is under contract to the UFC, and he's not making as much as Conor Benn's making, who's a boxer that none of us have heard of. It's getting crazy, guys. Joe Rogan sided with Jake Paul on this issue. We're going to get into it, and more importantly, what this new acquisition, the new landscape looks like, what's going to happen moving forward. Are fighters going to get paid more? And what does this mean for the UFC's business model? Because now they got Jake coming at their neck, and they got Joe Rogan siding with Jake. We'll get into it. My name is King David MMA. I'm a professional MMA champion, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I coach at the greatest gym on the planet, Extreme Couture. Make sure you guys check out Fight Circus, home of the freak show fights. We love Fight Circus around here. Make sure you check them out on Instagram. They are coming to Vegas again, and it is going to get real weird in Vegas. I can't tell you who's on the card, but all I'm going to say is someone might get stalked and slapped. That's all I'm going to say, guys. Make sure you follow Fight Circus. If you've not subscribed already, I don't know what you're doing. I'm not even speaking to people who haven't subscribed. I'm talking to my subscribers. If you've subscribed, I appreciate you. Thank you. Every time the subscriber count goes up by 1, I get happy. So if you've hit the subscribe button, then thank you. I really mean it. It means a lot to me. We're growing the channel. Thank you. And if you've got notifications on, then you can catch the lives because they go live at random ass times, as you can see right now. If you are catching this after the live, drop a comment because I respond to all comments while I'm still able to, which the channel's growing at a pace to where now I'm not like going to be able to do it for long, but right now I'm still doing it. So drop a comment. If you like the video, because I guess it helps the algo, guys. It helps the algo. Also, man, if you're in Vegas, check out The Spot. They'll give you 35% off if you're a new customer. The Spot, they sell all kinds of greenery and shrubbery and things like that that can alter your state of being. If you're looking at the Palms Place in Vegas and you turn around, you'll be staring right at the spot. You just walk across the street from the Palms Place. Tell them King David sent you. They'll give you 35% off. That means if you spend $100, you get $100 worth of stuff and you get 35 bucks. You keep that in your pocket, right? And you get the $100 worth of products, right? So shout out to The Spot, guys. Make sure you go check out The Spot in Las Vegas. Oh, and make sure you send your coach a Fight Circus. I mean, Send your coach to Fight Circus, obviously, right? But make sure you send your coach to Studio Millions, StudioMillions.com. Studio Millions will pack your coach's gym full of students who stay, pay, and refer. Your coach will absolutely love you for it. They love martial arts. They want to change people's lives. There's someone out there. And what is this person's name? There's a person who needs your gym right now, and they don't know about your gym. Because your coach doesn't have Studio Millions. If they have Studio Millions, you can change this person's life. What is this person's name? What are the names of the people who will not be helped if you don't send your coach to Studio Millions? StudioMillions.com will get your coach's gym right. Let's freaking go, guys. All right, so Joe Rogan has been pro fighter pay for a while. And more recently, due to the MVP Netflix deal and the PFL merger, where Jake Paul has merged his promotional company with the PFL, Rogan's been speaking out about it again, and he wants them to succeed. So even though Jake Paul has thrown Joe Rogan's dear friend and boss under the bus multiple times, made rap diss tracks about him with millions and millions of views, accused him of horrible things like doing cocaine and beating his wife and all kinds of allegations, Jake Paul is speaking out directly, going at Dana White. And despite all this, Joe Rogan cares about the fighters so much that he wants Jake to succeed. That way fighters get paid more. In fact, he said the biggest bullshit thing about the UFC is the fighter pay. He says he hates it. He hates the way fighters get paid. He hates the model of fight and win, where if you're in the UFC, you get paid, let's say, on a beginning contract, $12,000 to fight. You get another $12,000 if you win. But you don't get 24 G's for the fight. If you lose, you only get 12, and you still got to pay your coaches. You still got to pay, any physical therapy, any kind of fucking nutritionist you got. You got to pay everybody, man, paying taxes and all kinds of shit, right? That comes out of the 12 G's. So a lot of these dudes have like 9-to-5 jobs, or they're teaching private lessons, or they're coaching classes, or they're doing a bunch of shit. There's nobody in the NFL with a 9-to-5 job. There's nobody in the NBA with a 9-to-5 job. There's nobody in the WNBA with a 9-to-5 job. But we got MMA fighters out here. They literally had a dude, he was working as a barista at Starbucks, and he came in and he fought Daniel Cormier. He fought Daniel Cormier while he was a barista at Starbucks. Guys, this is legitimate. He was a fucking barista. He was working at a coffee shop. And he fought Daniel Cormier. How crazy is that? And so Jake Paul's pulled up with Nikisa, who is his business partner, who used to work for the UFC. Meanwhile, Dana White is going the other direction with fighter pay. He started Zuffa Boxing, and he's paying out big money to boxers. So Conor Benn gets a $15 million one-fight deal. And if you get signed to the UFC, you get $12,000. That's over 1,000 times more money for Conor Benn, who nobody really knows or has heard of, right, outside of England. And is not as big a star as Conor McGregor, or Sean Strickland, or Sugar Sean O'Malley. And he makes more money than Strickland and Sean O'Malley, and he probably makes just about as much as Conor McGregor does. After the body of work and fucking change of the landscape that Conor McGregor has done, the other Conors get in the bag. It's fucking crazy. And Joe Rogan's had enough. So he's speaking out. So you think about how bad fighter pay has to be for the biggest voice in the sport, who's dear friends with Dana White. Like, they've known each other decades. Boys. And he's fucking like, dude, man, they don't fucking pay over at UFC, bro. I hope Netflix wins. I hope Netflix is a sustainable business model. I hope there's an avenue. Competition will be good because it'll force the UFC to pay more. Like, think about what he's got to be thinking. Like, dude, we love this sport, and you're paying this fucking British boxer tens of millions of dollars, and these dudes that have dedicated their fucking lives to it are working at Starbucks while they're fucking trying to like fight for you, bro. Like, what are we doing here, dude? So it's getting pretty fucking crazy out here. Sean Strickland, UFC champion, calls it predatory. He says the UFC pay model is a predatory pay model. Jake Paul and Nikisa have come out and said that UFC has the absolute lowest pay of any major sports organization, and that other similar sports organizations who have the same type of contracts, like multi-billion-dollar contracts, they pay out 40 plus, sometimes 50% to the talent, the athletes, and UFC pays out like 13, 14, something like that percent. Way less. And if we could just get it to 50%, a couple things would happen. One, you'd see better fights because these dudes would actually be able to like take care of themselves and not have to fucking work and train. We'd see less injuries because they could get the proper rehabilitation, prehabilitation. They would get the proper recovery. They wouldn't have to go work as a fucking locksmith driving around all night helping people get out of their fucking get their keys out of their cars or whatever job they have. You know what I mean? A welder or some shit, right? Working as a fucking blacksmith and fucking hammering on fucking swords. I don't know what the fuck people work as, right? But like, dudes got jobs, okay? People have jobs. And then they got to go train. So even like teaching a kids class is not the most physically demanding job ever. But think about this. Some dude is signed to the UFC, professional athlete, and has to show up to some fucking gym and hear some fat dude lecture him on, hey, my kid's really special and he needs this and he needs that. And my kid's blah, blah, blah. And the fat dude's never done anything athletic in his life, never showed any discipline, telling his kid not to tap, yelling at his kid when he taps. You should never tap out. Never. We don't quit. And it's like, bro, you quit on your fucking metabolic health, dog. Who are you even talking to? And now this fat guy gets to talk to this UFC fighter some fucking kind of way. And the UFC fighter has to sit there for, I don't know, some places 20, some places 50, some places more. But whatever, like most places $20 to $50 an hour. He's teaching kids class. And he's sitting there getting lectured by parents and fucking having a, like, is it a sport, guys? Is it actual, like, are we, like, actually, don't even get me started, like, what you make on the fucking regional scene. I'm literally a professional MMA champion. And, like, what you make on the regional scene is fucking crazy. Now, I happen to have a bit of a following on Instagram, and I've gone viral a few times, so I got, like, as many as 1.5 million views a month, and I've done that several months, and then I have that like charted out, and I can show that to a fight promoter, and like, hey man, a lot of times I go viral, especially after fights. Here's the attention I'll bring you. So I get paid better than a lot of guys. Dude, a lot of guys are fighting for like $1,000 or like a couple G's. It's fucking insane. And so the state of affairs is that like a WNBA player on the fucking bench makes more than a UFC fighter, oftentimes. It's crazy. It's fucking insane. It's insane. And just from a branding perspective, it's like a bad look for the sport. Like you can't even like like it's not aspirational. Like some kid's not going like, dude, I want to go fight for $12,000 in the UFC. Like, that's not aspirational. You want to go play basketball for $100 million. You want to go play soccer for $100 million. You want to go play in the NFL or the Major League Baseball for $100 million. And UFC's paying 12 G's. And then they have the fucking boxers dangling money in their face. Hey, come box me for $10 million. And they're not even allowed to go get the $10 million. Jake Paul would pay Sean Strickland easily $10 million right now to come box. And Sean can't go box. Sean's under a contract where he would be in breach. He would be breaking his contract to go box Jake Paul. Jake Paul would get sued, MVP would get sued, Sean would get probably sued. He's not allowed to go get the money. The money's right there. And rather than going like, hey man, we don't want to pay you, but we've given you a platform, you're famous now, go get some money. Rather than doing that, they're like, hey, don't get any money. We're not gonna pay you what you're worth. But like, don't expect to go deal with anyone who will, unless you want to fight your contract. And the coldest part about it all is that the way the UFC matchmaking works is that when you are quote unquote playing, but there's obviously everybody in the UFC is good, but there's stylistic matchups that are bad. So they're going to give you the worst possible matchups to get you coming off L's because they want you to lose if you're trying to fight your contract out. They did it to Francis Ngannou. Francis won his fights. And then Francis bounced, and now Francis has got several bags. So Francis is an example of how to get out. But it's like, dude, what are we fucking doing here? This guy wants to go box. He wants to get paid. What's the fucking problem? Oh, well, if he goes and gets paid, he won't fight for us. Well, of course not. You're not paying him. Dude, pay the man. Oh, well, we don't want to pay fair market value. It's like, well, then what are we fucking doing here? The coldest, like the next level of coldery is that for a while there was no competition. And now we got Jake Paul shit talking, fucking diss track making ass coming in. And Jake Paul's put himself in a position to where he's playing chess. Jake Paul, as kooky and zany as you might think he is from YouTube, he did something smart. He put himself in a position where either he's going to succeed with MVP or the UFC is going to have to start buying fighters who are up-and-coming fighters out before they go to MVP. Because if MVP gets a breakout fucking star, if MVP gets the next Conor before the UFC gets the next Conor, MVP is to the fucking moon. They have a bigger platform, which is Netflix. They have a bigger celebrity, which is Jake Paul. And if they have bigger, more charismatic, rising talent with actual fighting skill, they're going straight to the motherfucking moon. Now, what that means to the UFC is the UFC is going to have to pay higher and higher money to get these stars. And by paying higher and higher money, Jake is forcing their hand to improve fighter pay. Now, that might put Jake out of business, but in order to do that, the UFC is going to have to up the percentage of which they pay out to fighters in order to compete with Netflix and Jake Paul. So either Jake Paul is going to have a successful MMA fighting promotion that rivals the UFC, or he's going to force the UFC to put him out of business by paying fighters more, and Jake Paul will be the hero to the fighters who finally broke the fighter pay problem. Let me read the chat real quick. Bro, real ones are live. What's up, Arpon the Don just hopped in. Jake Paul is a household name for the younger generation. Yeah, man. And so he's got the new eyes. The same way that Uber crushed taxi cabs, the same way that Netflix crushed Blockbuster, the same way that, iPhone, Apple Music crushed fucking CDs and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, the old way of doing things gets crushed by the new way. And Jake Paul is the new way. He's going fighter first. And so while it seems like, how could he compete with the UFC? Dude, UFC is operating in a non-flexible, somewhat archaic business model. Jake Paul is coming in going, dude, if we give these guys platforms and we tell them stories, we're going to attract the best talent on the planet because they're going to want more money and more eyeballs. And if Jake can deliver those things, you're going to see a fucking mass exodus of dudes trying to fight their contract out, of people not signing with the UFC. And then UFC is going to have to change or get left behind the same way taxi cabs didn't change. And they got left behind and now Uber's everywhere. Like, I've never thought to call a taxi cab in, fucking 10 years or some shit. You know what I mean? When's the last time you thought about going to a Blockbuster movie? You just fucking... Everything's streaming like that. It's not even a thought in your head to go, I'm going to go down and rent a physical movie. Like, what, bro? What are we talking about? And so the coldest part is I keep saying the coldest part is for some day. I'm on that way. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm drinking this cold ass caffeinated beverage right here that I just got out of the freezer. Oh, it's like a 0-calorie, cola flavored, caffeinated slushy. I'm right in the 500 range for caffeine today. It's been a chill day. We didn't get too crazy. We kept it mid tier, like just a vibey day. 500 milligrams. I'm not saying drink 500 milligrams. I'm just saying for me, that's like a light day. That's like light work. I was in the garage just cranking fucking weights out. You know what I'm saying? Just like, it's Sunday, you know? It's called an active rest day. Hitting weights in the garage. So that's what I was up to. But yeah, I believe that Jake Paul is going to absolutely disrupt the industry. I believe that there is going to be once they get like 3 shows deep and they show that they're going to keep having shows, they're going to start telling stories of these fighters. They got the chick, Dakota or whatever her name is. They're going to turn her into a star. They're going to pay her millions of dollars. She's going to be like, hey, I'm making money. And everybody's going to be like, what? Because right now, guys, behind the scenes, a lot of female fighters are just going to power slap. Because if you're a female fighter, you can either go fight at, like, let's say a regional show like Tough Enough, where they're going to try and pay you like $800 to fight. Yes, I said 800. Or you're going to go to power slap and get like 5,000 a fight, 5,000 a win or something on like an introductory contract. 10 bands. Well, that same fighter, if she's got any form of fighting ability and any charisma whatsoever, if anyone would want to watch her fight, if the proper marketing was put behind her, she can now go to MVP and she can fight the Dakota chick and they can have like a big ass women's super fight. Jake's ahead of the game. He's partnering with Eddie Hearn. They now have 700 female boxers or something like that on their roster. Some crazy amount of female boxers now. They've taken over the female boxing game. They're getting girls $1 million paychecks. The women were fighting for like $10,000. Now they're getting millions of dollars. Like, so if you were that athlete, who would you sign with? So the same thing's happening in MMA now. They're like, oh, where can we see opportunities? It's like when John Danaher pulled up to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and was like, oh, nobody knows how to defend leg locks. We're going to just fucking crush the game for like 3 years and just leg lock everybody till everybody catches up. But for right now, it's just open season on leg locks. Just it was like a tsunami wave just crushing the jiu-jitsu industry. Same thing here. Oh, shit, dude. These are some of the biggest stars. Like Sean Strickland's a fucking star. That dude's a fucking star. He's like a political fucking voice. He's beyond UFC at this point. He's like a political voice. He's the voice of like the unheard American. And like, he's fucking cool. A lot of people look up to that guy. He should be getting paid. And for someone who's generating the coolness, who's generating the like, oh, we like that guy. We rock with that guy. For that guy to not get paid, that's fucking insane. And so Jake's paying people. You can go to Jake and get fucking paid. You can get your story promoted. They want you doing interviews. They want you being more famous. They want you bringing eyeballs. They're not trying to limit your reach. They're not trying to take your fucking microphone from you at the press conference. You know what I'm saying? And so when the cool people are getting oppressed and someone comes over and goes, oh, dude, they're not paying the cool people? We could just pay the cool people and then we'll have all the cool people. And the cool people is where the market goes. You get what I'm saying? Like where the stars are is where the market goes. So the same way that blockbuster fucking movies thought they were tight, like, oh, hey, what do you mean people are going to watch movies that, like, they're not going to come to us? Where are they going to get their movies? Like, dude, they're going to stream them on their fucking TV, bro. Oh, yeah, right. Bro, watch what happens. Because they were taking themselves as the thing. They were taking themselves too seriously. When the thing isn't the organizational structure and the business and blah, blah. No, dude, the thing is who's fucking cool, who's a fucking star, right? Who's got a story to tell. And back in the day, you needed distribution. That's how like the whole music business worked. They would take 90 to 99% of people's money because they were the distribution channel. There was no way to get your music out unless you went to the distribution channel. And then they would fucking give you these fucked up contracts, crazy contracts. I got a lot of friends in the music industry. My boy's backstage with Nelly right now. Shout out to Nelly from back in the day. What'd he say? It's going down, down, baby, streets in the main, love man, but can't many let it go. Remember that? Yeah, so my boy's over there right now. But like, so I've seen behind the scenes of some of these contracts. One of my fucking friends was essentially managing Soulja Boy. My boy that's hanging out with Nelly right now, because Nelly's in Vegas, he had Rich Boy living on his couch. Throw some D's on that bitch, right? So like I've seen behind the scenes the way the music industry operates, and it's very similar to what's going on with the UFC right now, except the music industry got hit first. Napster came out, then fucking iTunes, and like now the music industry's changed, and we've got Spotify, and we've got Instagram, and we've got TikTok, and we've got these platforms so people can be their own distribution channel. They can own their own music, and they don't have to go through these fucking middlemen. And the same thing's happening with the UFC right now. The UFC owns a distribution channel. So if you want to fight, the only place to go is the UFC. But because Jake Paul understands social, he understands that the story, the coolness, the person is the value. It's not the actual fucking fight, right? Because the fight can take place in the PFL with no one watching it, and it doesn't matter, even though it's a good fight. But if Jake can put the story behind it and put it on the fucking platform and let the people understand how to use his reach to distribute their fucking story, and he collaborates with them and he helps them, then he's gonna have all the fucking stars. And when he has all the stars, because he's paying all the fucking money to them, he's going, oh shit, dude, we'll give you 50% of what we make. That's fair. You're gonna come. We want everybody. We want to work with you guys. We don't want to exploit you guys. We think you're cool. We want to help you be cool. Can we help you fucking, dude, we got a social media team. We have a whole fucking marketing department. We're going to put fucking part of our budget out of our pocket into you. Now, we're not talking about the 50% we're going to pay you guys. We're taking the 50% we get and we're going to fucking put that back into the business. And the business is you. And so let's say a guy like Sean Strickland's a free agent, right? And the UFC is like, oh, man, we're going to pay. I don't know what. Sean trains at the same gym as me, but I've never talked to him about money. So this is me just completely making up numbers. These are not accurate numbers. Let's say he's getting $3 million a fight because he's the UFC champion. And if he loses, God forbid, then he's not getting $3 million. But for right now, he's the champion, so he'll get $3 million in his next fight. Hypothetically speaking, these are not his real numbers. Do not quote me on this. And then Jake Paul's like, your contract's up? Dude, we want to promote you. We don't want to cut your mic off. We want to pay you $10 million. We want to pay you $30 million a fight. Come over here, dude. We want to turn you into a household name, bro. We believe the country, the undertone of the country resonates with you. The average American, the working class American resonates with you. You're a man of the people. We want you over here, bro. We'll pay you. And Sean's like, dude, I can sit here in the UFC and get my fucking mic cut off. I can get banned from the White House card, and I can get $3 million a fight. I can go over to fucking MVP and get between $10 and $30 million a fight depending on the opponent. They're going to fucking platform me. They're going to give me a voice. They're going to make me fucking, they believe I'm cool. They're going to put me in front of the audience through their platform. They're going to promote me. They're going to try and make me a bigger star. They're going to try and make me more money. What would you do? What would you do? And now, instead of just him, imagine it's everyone. And now everybody's vying and everybody's trying to get over to MVP. And so MVP is like 3 successful shows away from that. And they're fucking 1 successful payday away from that. We're like, what'd you make over there? They paid you what? Whoa. I thought they just paid Nate Diaz because what did they pay you? Dude, wait, what? Your biggest fight in the UFC was $50,000 and now you got $500,000 in MVP? Dude, what? Bro, you're making 150 in UFC and they paid you 1 million in MVP? Bro, what? Dude, you're a million. Bro, we used to fucking train together. But you're a fucking millionaire. Dude, how the fuck do I get out of my... That's, you get what I'm saying? And then the UFC has to fucking adapt. Is the UFC going to go under? Highly unlikely. They've got a $7 billion fucking backing behind them. And probably more money where that came from, right? They've got Sheik Turkey over there with unlimited funds. Putting up money for these boxing fights. And so the counterpoint is Dana's going to say, I would imagine, which is probably accurate. Well, the Sheik's putting up the money for the boxing, so I don't see what paying Conor Ben $15 million has to do with what's going on in the UFC. And then the counterpoint is, well, dude, listen, every other sports league is fucking paying, right? So now we got Joe Rogan siding with Jake Paul against Dana White in the fighter pay battle. You get like it's already started. The writing's on the wall. The UFC has to pay the fighters more money. There's no way of going around. Dude, Jake Paul's about to be on Netflix. If Jake Paul fights fucking Nate Diaz on Netflix, guys, dude, like Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz, main event. Mike Perry, I'm just throwing out hypotheticals. Mike Perry versus Nick Diaz, co-main. You're not tuning in? Francis Ngannou versus that Cuban striker dude, Despania, or whatever his name is. Battle of the Strikers. That's the third fight down. You're not tuning in? The Dakota chick that everybody's like super hyped on. They got her on the card. They got a card. And then it turns out, what did Francis make? Francis made the other dude made $3 million. What did Nick Diaz make? What did Mike Perry make? What did Nate Diaz make? It's already started. When I'm at the gym, the managers at the gym are talking about guys going to MVP. People don't even want to go to UFC. Go fight on Contenders for $5,000? Dude, I'm trying to get on the MVP card, bro. I'm trying to get on the MVP card. I'm trying to get on the Jake Paul undercard when he makes his MMA debut. The writing's on the wall. It's happening. You guys are watching Napster crush the music industry. You guys are watching streaming. You're watching Netflix crush Blockbuster. You're watching Uber crush taxi cabs. It's literally happening. They now have a roster. They have one of the most famous people on the planet to promote them. They understand who stars are. They've got the entire fucking political agenda of promoting women's sports behind them. And they're doing a good fucking job with the women's boxing. They understand narrative. Where Jake Paul can go into every interview and be the fucking baby face. We took women's boxing from making $10,000 to paying them what they're worth. We have the first woman who's made $1 million as a boxer. We told her she was going to be a millionaire. We changed her life. We've got multiple millionaire female boxers now. We're trying to make, like, any fucking platform will interview that guy about that. And then he's going to go, we're going to do the same thing in MMA because these fighters are being exploited. Everybody's going to run with that. He can get on any podcast and say that. He can get on any fucking news media other than the news media that's owned by the people that rock with the UFC. But there's another group that rocks with Netflix that he can go, like, you get what I'm saying? So now we got a fucking battle. And unless the UFC steps the fuck up, there's going to be a fucking, it's just going to be like a shift. Boom. And everybody's over there now. The same way, dude, I remember, because, guys, I'm vintage, okay? I know I look like I'm like fucking 22, 25 years old, whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like fucking, like I'm 6'4", fucking 300 pounds of muscle. I know. That's how I look, but I'm actually on paper like double that or whatever, right? But anyways, I was around when there was a thing called MySpace. I was around before there was a MySpace. I remember Jason Mayhem Miller, who went on to host Bully Beatdown on MTV, which was a television channel back in the day. He was like, Dave, you got to get on MySpace. And I'm like, what the fuck is it? What are you talking? What? Get on what? He's like, get on my space. And I'm like, what is your space? And he's like, no, it's called MySpace. And I'm like, you know what I mean? We're going back and forth. Like, I'm like, your space. He's like, no, MySpace. I'm like, you just said it's your space. He's like, no, MySpace. Right? Anyways, he explained to me, no, it's spelled MYSPAC. It's MySpace. So it's like, you would say it about yourself. It's MySpace, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, so it's this thing called MySpace. He's like, just trust me, bro. Get on there. So I got on there. And I remember, because he was an early adapter, and he had suggested I get on there, and I'm open-minded. I got on there, right? I would tell people about it, and they'd be like, what is that? And so that was the first wave. No one knew what it was. Then the second wave was like, oh, people are doing this weird thing. It's getting on MySpace. I would never do that. You get on the computer and talk to people? Guys, Mayhem saw something that many people didn't see. I was just open-minded enough to pop on there and then be a part of it, right? And so quickly, I had like 15,000 friends, which was a lot on MySpace. And I was seeing people going through these phases of like, what's that? To like, ew, that's weird. To like, I would never do that. To like, oh my gosh, everybody's doing that. Like, oh, you're on there? Oh yeah, da 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 da. I heard about that. I made one, but I don't go on there. And then to like, everybody's on MySpace. And then they talk about MySpace in the movie Superbad. And everyone's like, yo, they said MySpace. What? Oh shit, the movies know about MySpace. And then all of a sudden Facebook comes in like a fucking tidal wave and crushes them. So I've seen it. The same thing happened with fucking CDs, and Napster came, and LimeWire, and iTunes now, and Spotify, and Apple Music. Woof. Uber. Woof. You know what I'm saying? And now we got fucking MVP coming in there. Like, dude, it's a chessboard, and there's wide gaps and openings. And there's a fucking value arbitrage. There's a value gap between what the cool people are worth and what the cool people are getting paid. And if you're willing to pay the fucking cool people, the cool people will go. And then what does this other company have if they don't have the fucking cool people? A bunch of fucking bean counters and accountants and businessmen. Hey, we're going to fucking, we're going to put a marketing budget behind this thing and we're going to say the UFC is cool. And it's like, dude, Sean Strickland's over here now, bro. And I'm not saying Sean's going to leave. I'm just saying, like, in this hypothetical imaginary situation, whoever the first one to leave is, and the first one's already happened, actually, it's Francis. And Francis has got tens of millions of dollars after leaving the UFC. Where he was, I believe he was getting paid like $600,000 or some shit, $650 or $750,000 in the UFC. And then he bounced out and got like 20 fucking mil to box. And you don't think everybody's fucking going like, okay, that was cool as a one-off, the same way they did with MySpace, right? Like, what's that? And then it's like, ooh, that's weird. Jake Paul? And then it's going to be like, oh, yeah, but, I mean, I'm a real fight. I'm not going to go to MVP. I want the competition. Then it's like, whoa, Sean Strickland went over there? Another UFC champion bounced with a belt? And I'm not saying Sean's going to do that. I'm just saying whoever the first one is. It could be anybody. Fucking Mackenzie Dern bounced? What? Whoever. Oh, wait. They got real fighters? Oh, shit. They're on Netflix? Like, dude, I've been watching that shit. That fucking looks cool, man. They got fireworks? UFC don't have fireworks? Whatever, right? Like, they're making it fucking cool. And as the early adapters go, that's like the fucking tip of the wave, and then the wave breaks and crashes. That's what we're looking at. Let me check the chat real quick. I saw someone wearing a shirt that says everyone watches women's sports. Bro, I saw somebody in that as well. And, I mean, good for them, right? It's funny because there are sports that people watch when women play. Like when the chicks fight in the UFC, a lot of people watch that. A lot of people like that. WNBA, not so much. They're hemorrhaging money. The WNBA is fucking hemorrhaging money. And I've seen some headlines recently. I haven't even looked. I was just like on my X, and it was like WNBA is getting worse than ever. And I guess the WNBA chicks are talking or something happened at WNBA recently that's like real fucking stupid. I didn't even tap on it, but I was like, I can only imagine what it is. It's probably some stupid woke fucking we hate America, but I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Who knows? Maybe I'm just assuming things. But anyway, yeah, I heard the WNBA is going from bad to worse. They do have the one chick that points. The one chick that points, she's a white chick. Is that WNBA or is that college? Shout out to that girl. Pointing and getting them mad. But like, you get what I'm saying? Like, she's dope because she points. I don't know how she plays basketball. If I want to watch basketball, I'm going to go watch the NBA. But now we got a character, right? And it just happens to be in WNBA. And now she's interesting, so it's interesting. That's how it actually works with fucking celebrity and coolness. I love the Ryzen and MVP deal. Plus sponsorship money, so it could be like 50 mil for Francis. Yeah, man. Francis is making fucking bank, bro. Dude. And it's crazy because that's what athletes should get paid. It's like, oh my gosh, Francis. It's like, dude, that should be usual. That should be the norm. That should be the norm. That should be the norm for fucking championship fighters. Just like it's the norm in boxing for championship matches. I got a whole fucking other take on boxing. Boxing's fake, by the way. We don't need to get into that. That'll be another video. I'm going to make the boxing's fake video soon. That's another video. We're not going to talk about how fake boxing is in this video. Boxing's fake. And it's not like, I don't mean rigged. I mean, it's just it's not actual reality. We got Tycoon Troy in the building. What's up, bro? Man, long time no see, my guy. Money talks. Hey, you ain't lying. Hamza says, Paulo Costa is teasing to leave the UFC. Look at tweets about MVP and congratulating them. Dude, he would do well over there. Can you imagine Paulo Costa versus Jake Paul? He could box Jake Paul. Paulo Costa could go get probably $5 million right now if he bounced out of UFC and boxed Jake Paul. And it would make sense because he's got the fucking look. You know what I'm saying? People would be like, oh shit, Jake ain't playing. Jake's fighting a fucking buff dude now. He's not picking a 40-year-old 170-pounder and making him come up to 200 pounds and fight him. No, he's fighting a fucking athlete. I would watch that. I would watch Jake Paul versus Paulo Costa in boxing. That would be fucking epic. Jake might get him. That's the coldest part. That's the part you guys aren't ready for me to say. Jake might clap Paulo Costa's cheeks, pause, in boxing. I'm being serious. I'm not trolling. I'm not trying to like rage bait. He might beat Paulo Costa up in boxing. That's crazy. That's crazy to say. But it's kind of true, man. Jake's athletic as fuck, man. And he hits hard. He's athletic as fuck and he hits hard. And he comes with a game plan. If you guys have seen his fights, a lot of what he's doing is strategic. He's got a game plan. Paulo has one fight left and he's not happy with his UFC contract. Yeah, man, they're going to have to pay him because MVP will pay him. MVP would love Paulo Costa to jump ship and be one of the first ones. Hey, Francis is over here. Nate's over here. Paulo Costa's over here. Why are you guys going over there suffering, man? You can come over here and get paid. We'd love to have you. We want to tell your story. We want to make you an international celebrity, famous, multimillionaire star. Why are you doing it the hard way when you can come do it the easy way? Why are you going over there working at Starbucks when you can come over here and be a multimillionaire? MVP let their fighters box too. Yeah, dude. So that's even the crazier part. Is that they said that UFC fighters cannot box in Zuffa boxing. It's like, dude, how fucking close-minded are we going to get? And then they're talking about letting Frank Mir's daughter, Bellamir, who I've trained with, who I'm kind of friendly with, like we say hi to each other at the gym or whatever. Always been cool. Every time I've talked to her, been cool. We've trained together. I was training a female athlete. That female athlete was training with Bella from time to time. And Bella's got skills. They're talking about Bellamir boxing in Zuffa boxing for the Zuffa championship in boxing. And she's going to box in Zuffa. She's going to be the UFC world champion. She's going to be a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, I guess UFC BJJ. And she's going to go to the Olympics. That's the plan. Which is wild because they've also said that UFC fighters aren't allowed to box. But anyways, that's neither here nor there, right? We're Jake Paul's coming in. He's going to install some order into this whole thing. And MMA will finally turn into a legitimate fucking sport. Do you think that people would quit faster or that the competition would go down if the UFC fighters got paid multi-millions or would get better? I think in the short term, it would go down a bit, and then in the long term, it would get better. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of guys that are literally just fighting for money. They're like, dude, it beats working. I can go get paid 50 grand. I fight 2 to 3 times a year. After I pay everybody out, I walk away with like just under 6 figures. I kind of have a chill life. I train, And so those guys, and those are like the middle level guys. Those aren't the like fighting for $12,000 and unfortunately losing and then having like 2 fights left and then they give you really bad matchups and then you get paid essentially for 2 more fights and then you're kicked out of the UFC and you made like $30,000 before you paid everybody out. And the I guess the upper middle guys that are making like the 6 figures a year-ish range, but they're fighting probably 2 to 3 times to make that. If those guys got paid $1 million, they'd probably fucking bounce, right? But then if you were paying out like $10 million, there's like a dude in the NFL that really wants to compete and he's not quite good enough to be the starter because he's got the super, like, imagine you were in the NFL